Your phone is selling you the wrong story. Not about apps, not about battery life. About the one thing that quietly determines how powerful modern computing can actually become: memory. And right now, in a Chinese research lab, scientists have published something that could matter far more than most flashy processor announcements. They did not build a faster chip. They did not just tweak an existing design. They removed the one component modern DRAM has relied on for decades: the capacitor. And if this idea ever works at scale, it does not just improve memory, it changes who has a chance to control the next era of computing. But here is the catch. There is a huge difference between a working lab prototype and a technology that can survive the brutal reality of mass production. So the real story is not whether this paper sounds impressive. It is whether this is the first crack in the memory industry's old architecture, or just another semiconductor breakthrough that dies before it ever leaves the lab. Stay with me, because this gets much bigger than one paper. Every phone, every laptop, every cloud server, and every AI system depends on one old but essential memory technology: DRAM, dynamic random access memory. And for decades, DRAM has been built around an extremely simple structure: one transistor, one capacitor. The transistor controls access to the cell. The capacitor stores the charge that represents the data. That is the foundation. It sounds almost too simple to be important, but this tiny structure is one of the reasons modern computing exists in its current form. For years, the model worked beautifully. Engineers kept shrinking the cells, packing in more memory, lowering cost, and improving density generation after generation. That was the comfortable era. That era is ending, because the capacitor, the part that actually stores the charge, is becoming a scaling nightmare. Make it too small and it cannot reliably hold enough charge. Pack the cells too closely and neighboring cells start interfering with each other. Try to compensate with more complex structures, and manufacturing becomes harder, more expensive, and less reliable. This is one of the hidden walls in computing. Not the processor wall, not the software wall, the memory wall. And the reason it matters is simple. AI systems are hungry for data movement. Modern computing is no longer limited only by how fast processors can calculate. It is increasingly limited by how quickly memory can feed them. That is why DRAM matters so much, and that is why the companies leading this market have spent years trying to keep scaling it. Samsung, SK Hynix, Micron. These firms dominate the global DRAM business and have spent decades refining how to build it at scale, but even they are fighting the same physical limits. So when a research team claims they may have found a way to build DRAM-like behavior without the capacitor itself, that gets attention. Because now you are no longer talking about a minor improvement, you are talking about a possible change in the basic architecture of memory. In the published research, the team demonstrated what is called a 2T0C memory cell. That means 2 transistors, 0 capacitors. And if you know how conventional DRAM works, that sounds almost contradictory. Because in normal DRAM, the capacitor is not some optional extra. It is the part that stores the information. It is the storage bucket. Remove the bucket, and the obvious question is, where does the data go? That is where this design gets interesting. Instead of storing information in a dedicated capacitor, the cell uses the electrical behavior of the transistors themselves. More specifically, it relies on internal transistor states and threshold voltage behavior to represent stored data. In other words, the transistor is no longer just controlling access, it is now part of the storage mechanism itself. That is a big conceptual shift, but it gets even more interesting. Traditional DRAM stores 1 bit per cell, 0 or 1, simple binary storage. This design aims to store multiple bits in a single cell by using different electrical states rather than just a single yes or no charge level. In the reported experiments, the researchers demonstrated multi-bit storage, including up to 3 bits in one cell. That matters because density is everything in memory. If one cell can hold more than 1 bit, the potential gains are obvious. More storage in less area, more efficient on-chip memory, possibly new options for AI-oriented computing systems where bandwidth and density are critical. And this was not just a simulation. That part is important. They built a real experimental array. They demonstrated write behavior, They demonstrated read behavior. They demonstrated retention characteristics. So this is not fantasy. This is real hardware research. That alone makes it more serious than the average breakthrough headline. But serious does not mean ready, and that is where the real test begins. Semiconductor history is full of ideas that looked brilliant in papers and failed in production, not because the science was fake, because manufacturing is merciless. And this new memory design still has very hard problems to solve. The first is retention. Traditional DRAM already leaks charge, which is why it must refresh itself constantly. That is normal. The whole industry is built around managing that weakness efficiently. In this new 2T0C design, the reported retention result was around 100 seconds in the experimental setup. Now that sounds impressive to a normal viewer, but in the memory world, that number has to be interpreted carefully. It does not mean this technology is suddenly better than commercial DRAM in every way. It means the researchers demonstrated that the state could be retained long enough in a controlled environment to prove the concept works. That is not the same thing as showing a commercially competitive product. Then comes the second problem, precision. When you store multiple bits in one cell, the spacing between valid states becomes much tighter. A small variation in voltage, temperature, fabrication quality, or electrical noise can push one state toward another. That creates read errors. And once you start talking about billions of cells on a wafer, tiny problems stop being tiny. They become yield problems, reliability problems, cost problems. Then comes the third and biggest issue, manufacturing. You do not replace a memory standard by proving something in a lab. You replace it by producing huge quantities of reliable cells at acceptable cost with repeatable yields inside a deeply optimized industrial ecosystem. That is the real battlefield. And it is where most revolutionary memory concepts slow down, stall out, or disappear. So yes, this is a real breakthrough in research terms. But no, that does not yet make it a DRAM replacement. That gap between scientific success and industrial success is where this story becomes much more complicated. Now zoom out, because this is not just a memory story, it is a power story. Today, the global DRAM market is highly concentrated. A small number of companies hold most of the manufacturing capability, the process experience, the intellectual property, and the production scale needed to make advanced DRAM viable. That concentration matters because memory is not optional, it is foundational. Phones need it, PCs need it, servers need it, AI data centers need enormous amounts of it. So whoever leads in memory does not just sell a component, they influence the infrastructure of modern computing. And this is exactly why a Chinese research breakthrough in an alternative memory architecture gets geopolitical weight, because China has spent years trying to reduce dependence on foreign semiconductor choke points. It has invested heavily in domestic chip capability, while also facing external pressure through export controls and equipment restrictions. In that environment, alternative architectures become strategically valuable. Why? Because if the future of memory does not rely on the exact same optimization path as conventional DRAM, then the current leader's advantage could become less decisive. Not erased, not instantly overturned, but less decisive. That matters. If a new architecture changes what matters most, materials, device structure, integration path, manufacturability, stacking approach, then the competitive map can shift. And that is the real significance of this kind of research. It is not just about whether one paper changes the market next year. It is about whether countries under technological pressure are beginning to search for entirely different routes around existing bottlenecks. That is why this paper is worth paying attention to, even if it never becomes a commercial product, because the direction of the research tells you what problem China is trying to solve. And the answer is obvious. How do you compete in memory without playing forever by someone else's rules? So what is the honest verdict? This is a real breakthrough, and it is also very early. Both things are true at once. It is real because the researchers did not just publish a concept. They demonstrated hardware, multi-bit behavior, and a functioning experimental array. That alone gives the work real weight. But it is early, because replacing or even seriously challenging DRAM is one of the hardest tasks in the semiconductor world. To matter commercially, this technology would need to prove far more than novelty. It would need to show competitive speed, competitive stability, competitive endurance, competitive cost, and some plausible path to integration with a computing ecosystem that has been refined around conventional memory for decades. That is not a small next step. That is a long engineering war. Still, the bigger takeaway is not that this cell will replace DRAM tomorrow. The bigger takeaway is that the old path is under pressure. When an industry hits a real wall, innovation does not stop. It changes direction, and memory is now in that phase. That is why so many next-generation memory ideas are being explored. FFET, MRAM, phase-change memory, advanced 3D integration, and now increasingly serious capacitor-less concepts like this one. No single contender is guaranteed to win. But the race itself tells you the status quo is no longer comfortable. And in the age of AI, that matters more than ever. Because processors still get the headlines, but memory decides whether those processors can actually be fed. The future of AI will not be shaped only by who trains the biggest models. It will also be shaped by who solves the problem of storing and moving data more efficiently. That contest is not finished, and that is exactly why this paper matters. Not because the revolution is here, because the search for it is now impossible to ignore. So the next time someone tells you the future of computing belongs to whoever builds the fastest processor, ask a better question. Who controls the memory? Because processors create the spectacle, but memory decides what is actually possible. And somewhere between this paper, the next prototype, and the first factory that can truly make this work at scale, the next balance of power in computing is already being decided, right now. And if you want to understand where technology is really going, not just the headlines, but the shifts that change everything, subscribe. Because this is where we break down the stories most people miss before they become impossible to ignore.